First Contact's Deception. High Admiral Verix of the Kilari Exploration Fleet stood on the bridge of the stellar vanguard, his iridescent scales reflecting the soft blue glow of Earth in the main view screen. The third planet of this unremarkable solar system had caught the Kilari's attention only because of its unusual electromagnetic signature. Now, as they approached under complete stealth, Verix felt a mixture of curiosity and dismissal. Preliminary scan complete, High Admiral, announced Science Officer Naira, her crystalline interface panels pulsing with data. We're detecting approximately 8 billion biological signatures, primitive orbital structures, and significant atmospheric pollution. Assessment suggests a pre-FTL civilization. Verix's secondary eyes blinked in sequence, a sign of mild amusement. Another species trapped in their own cradle. Begin standard documentation protocol. We'll add them to the monitoring database. But as the stellar vanguard moved into high orbit, something unusual caught Naira's attention. Sir, there's a discrepancy in our readings. The orbital debris pattern. It's too perfect. Explain, Verix commanded, moving to her station. Natural orbital debris follows predictable patterns based on gravitational influences. But this? She manipulated the holographic display, highlighting thousands of seemingly random pieces of space junk. The pattern is artificial. As if a sudden energy spike interrupted her analysis. Throughout the ship, systems began shutting down one by one. Verix's scales shifted to a pale yellow of alarm as the bridge lights flickered and died, leaving only the emergency illumination. Report, he barked, but before anyone could respond, every screen on the bridge lit up with the same image, a human face. Greetings, High Admiral Verix of the Kilari Exploration Fleet, the human said in perfect Kilari language. I am Director Sarah Chen of the Earth Defense Initiative. We've been expecting you. Verix's scales now pulsed between yellow and white, alarm and disbelief. Impossible. Your pre-FTL, our scans, showed exactly what we wanted them to show. Sarah interrupted, her expression remaining neutral. Those pieces of debris you've been analyzing. They're part of our orbital defense grid. You're currently surrounded by over 3,000 automated defense platforms. Your ship's systems are under our control. As if to demonstrate, the bridge lights came back on, and the ship's artificial gravity fluctuated briefly. But our stealth technology, Naira began, was detected the moment you entered the Oort cloud. Sarah finished. We've been studying your approach for the past 3 months. Your quantum wake signature is quite distinctive. Verix's scales settled into a deep blue of resignation. They had severely miscalculated. You've hidden your true technological level. Why? Sarah's image was replaced by a series of recordings, various alien species discovering primitive worlds, subjugating them, exploiting their resources. We've been watching, learning. The galaxy isn't as peaceful as your exploration fleet pretends. We decided to prepare accordingly. The image returned to Sarah. For the past 50 years, we've maintained a facade of technological immaturity while developing in secret those primitive orbital structures, decoys. Our real space habitats are cloaked. The pollution, a carefully managed atmospheric screen hiding our clean energy infrastructure. Suddenly, space around the stellar vanguard seemed to shimmer. Massive structures appeared as advanced cloaking fields deactivated. Orbital shipyards, defense platforms, and space elevators materialized like ghosts becoming solid. We are not defenseless, High Admiral, Sarah continued. We are not primitive, and we are not interested in becoming another subjugated species in your database. However, her expression softened slightly. We are interested in peaceful diplomatic relations, assuming the Kilari Confederation is willing to meet us as equals. Verix stared at the display, his scales shifting through various colors as he processed this revelation. Everything they had assumed about humanity had been wrong. The supposed primitive species had not only detected their approach, but had completely outmaneuvered them. "Your terms?" he asked finally. "Simple. You will be escorted to our diplomatic station on Luna, what you call Earth's moon. There we can begin formal discussions about establishing relations between our peoples." However, Sarah's tone hardened slightly. "Be aware that any aggressive action will be met with immediate and overwhelming force. We've developed countermeasures for every weapon system we detected on your vessel." As if to emphasize her point, several massive warships decloaked around the stellar vanguard, their design unlike anything in the Kilari database. "Additionally," Sarah continued, "we're aware of the automated buoy you launched upon entering our system. We allowed it to transmit exactly what we wanted your people to see. The Kilari Confederation now believes Earth is a primitive world of little interest. We prefer to keep it that way until proper diplomatic channels are established." Varix felt a newfound respect for these humans. They hadn't just prepared for first contact, they had orchestrated it. Their technological achievements were impressive, but their strategic thinking was masterful. "We accept your terms, Director Chen," Varix replied formally. "Though I must ask, why reveal yourselves now? You could have let us leave, believing you primitive." Sarah smiled. "Because, High Admiral, we believe in giving species one chance to prove their character. Your approach was cautious, not aggressive. Your scans were thorough but not invasive. You showed curiosity rather than immediate dismissal. In short, you passed the first test." As the stellar vanguard was escorted to the lunar diplomatic station, Varix reflected on how thoroughly humanity had upended his understanding of the galaxy. They had encountered many species over the centuries, but never one that had turned first contact itself into a test of character. The humans had not just prepared for the galaxy, they had reshaped the rules of engagement. And as the lunar station came into view, a massive complex that had been invisible moments before, Varix realized that this was just the beginning of humanity's surprises. The galaxy was about to change, and humanity had orchestrated their entrance perfectly. They hadn't just survived first contact, they had mastered it. The silent stars. Deep beneath the lunar surface, High Admiral Varix and his senior staff followed their human escorts through a series of pristine corridors. The architecture was unlike anything in Kilari experience, a seamless blend of functionality and aesthetic beauty that seemed to defy conventional engineering limitations. "Your facilities are impressive," Naira commented, her scientific curiosity overwhelming her diplomatic reserve. Her sensor arrays detected energy signatures that shouldn't have been possible with the technology level Earth had presented to the galaxy. Their guide, Dr. Marcus Zhang, smiled. "This is just the public section of Lunar Base Alpha. Most of our research and development facilities remain classified, though you'll be granted access to certain areas as our diplomatic relations progress." They entered a vast chamber that caused even the stoic Kilari to pause in amazement. One entire wall was a transparent quantum crystalline viewport, revealing the Earth hanging in space above them. But it was what floated between them and Earth that captured their attention. A massive holographic display showing the true extent of human space infrastructure. "Welcome to Strategic Command," Sarah Chen's voice announced as she entered from a side door. "I thought it was time to show you what humanity has really been up to while the galaxy wasn't watching." A hologram shifted, revealing layers of orbital infrastructure that had been completely invisible to Kilari sensors, shipyards large enough to construct vessels that would dwarf the stellar vanguard, energy collection systems that encircled the planet in an intricate web, and most surprisingly, a network of quantum gates leading to points unknown. "Impossible," Naira whispered. "The energy requirements alone were solved 30 years ago," Marcus explained. "The same year we detected our first Kilari long-range probe. We've been preparing for this meeting ever since." The hologram zoomed out, showing the entire solar system. Hidden installations appeared throughout. Bases on Mars, mining operations in the asteroid belt, research stations in Jupiter's orbit. Earth's solar system wasn't just inhabited, it was a fortress. "But why?" Varix asked. Why expend such resources to hide your development? Sarah's expression grew serious. Because we've been watching. Your Confederation isn't the only spacefaring civilization we've detected. We've intercepted communications, analyzed patrol patterns, studied technological signatures. The galaxy is filled with powers both benevolent and hostile. The hologram shifted again, showing recordings of various alien civilizations. Some were familiar to the Kilari, others completely unknown. We decided early on that humanity's best chance wasn't to rush into the galactic community, but to enter it on our own terms. Every piece of technology you see here was developed with one purpose: to ensure humanity's independence and security. Varix's scales shifted to a deep purple of contemplation. You've achieved in secret what many civilizations haven't managed openly. How did you maintain such unity of purpose? Sarah exchanged glances with Marcus before responding. Necessity. When we first detected alien activity in our solar system, Earth's nations were divided, often in conflict. The revelation that we weren't alone changed everything. We realized that our petty differences meant nothing compared to the challenges and opportunities that awaited us among the stars. The hologram focused on a specific installation, a massive complex hidden within Mars's Valles Marineris. This is where it started, Marcus explained. The first joint project between all Earth's nations. A research facility dedicated to developing the technologies we'd need to survive in a universe we knew nothing about. The Prometheus Initiative, Sarah added, named after a figure from human mythology who gave fire to humanity. In this case, the fire was knowledge. Specifically, the knowledge we gained from studying alien technologies we detected. Varix's scales flashed yellow in alarm. You reversed engineered our technology. No, Sarah smiled. We observed and learned, but everything you see here was developed independently. We wanted to ensure our technology would be truly ours, not copies of alien systems we might not fully understand. The tour continued through other sections of the lunar base, each revelation more surprising than the last. The Kilari delegation learned of humanity's quantum communication network, their breakthroughs in artificial gravity manipulation, and their mastery of dark energy physics. But it was in a seemingly ordinary conference room that the biggest surprise awaited them. As they settled into their seats, Sarah activated a holographic display showing a star map of the local galaxy cluster. What you're about to see is classified at the highest levels, she began. While we've maintained the illusion of being confined to our solar system, humanity has already begun expanding beyond it. The map highlighted several star systems, each containing hidden human colonies and research outposts. The Kilari delegation stared in stunned silence as they realized the true scope of human achievement. How? Naira finally asked. Even with your level of technology, the distances. Quantum tunneling technology, Marcus explained. Different from your FTL drives. We can establish stable wormhole corridors between predetermined points in space. The energy cost is high, but it allows for instant transportation between our colonies. Varix studied the map carefully. These systems, some are claimed by other powers. No, Sarah corrected. They're listed in various databases as claimed, but we've confirmed they're uninhabited. We've been very careful not to infringe on any actual territories. Our colonies are small, self-sufficient, and completely hidden. Which brings us to why we've chosen to reveal ourselves to you, Marcus continued. Humanity is ready to emerge onto the galactic stage, but we want to do so carefully, with allies who understand our position. Sarah nodded. The Kilari Confederation has a reputation for fairness in its diplomatic relations. We're offering you an opportunity to be part of humanity's official first contact with the galaxy. But first, we needed you to understand our true capabilities. Varix's scales shifted through several colors as he processed this information. The humans hadn't just hidden their technological development. They had orchestrated an entire shadow expansion into the galaxy. Their reveal to the Kilari wasn't just about diplomacy. It was a carefully calculated move in a game they had been playing for decades. "You understand," Sarah added, "that this information cannot leave this room until our diplomatic agreements are finalized. Any premature revelation of humanity's true status could destabilize several regional power structures." "And if we decline?" Verix asked, though he already suspected the answer. Sarah's expression remained pleasant, but her eyes hardened slightly. "Then you'll return to your people with the memory of a simple, pre-FTL civilization, not worth another visit for at least a century. Our quantum engineers are quite skilled at selective memory modification." The threat was delivered so casually that it took a moment to register. When it did, Verix felt a new respect for these humans. They hadn't just prepared technologically. They had developed a diplomatic ruthlessness that would serve them well in galactic politics. "That won't be necessary," Verix replied. "The Kilari Confederation would be honored to facilitate humanity's official entrance into the galactic community, though I suspect you've already planned exactly how that entrance will occur." Sarah's smile widened slightly. "High Admiral, you're beginning to understand us already. Shall we discuss the details?" As the diplomatic discussions began in earnest, Verix couldn't help but wonder how many other secrets humanity still held in reserve. They had orchestrated this entire encounter, revealed exactly what they wanted to reveal, and maintained control of every aspect of the situation. The galaxy wasn't ready for humanity, but humanity was more than ready for the galaxy. Echoes of pride. The news spread through the galactic community like a quantum cascade. Humanity had emerged from their solar system, not as primitives seeking guidance, but as technological equals. The Kilari Confederation's formal introduction of Earth to the Galactic Council sent shockwaves through established power structures. In the council chambers on Nexus Station, Ambassador Elena Rodriguez stood before representatives of 37 spacefaring civilizations. Her simple black uniform, adorned only with Earth's new unified insignia, contrasted sharply with the ornate regalia of other species. "Humanity comes before this council, not to seek permission or approval," Elena's voice carried clearly through the vast chamber, "but to establish diplomatic relations as equals. For the past 50 years, we have watched, learned, and prepared. Today, we step into the light." The chamber erupted in a cacophony of voices and translated protests. The Umbreki representative, their crystalline form pulsing with agitation, rose first. "This is unprecedented. You claim to have hidden your true technological level from the entire galaxy. How can we trust a species that begins with deception?" Elena's smile was diplomatic but carried an edge. "Trust must be earned, honored representative. Just as we had to earn our place among the stars. Would you have preferred we reveal ourselves before we could guarantee our independence?" From his position beside the human delegation, High Admiral Verix watched the proceedings with fascination. His scales shifted to deep blue, the color of admiration, as he observed humanity's carefully choreographed entrance into galactic politics. The Zintheri delegation, infamous for their aggressive expansion policies, spoke next. "The human claims are obvious fabrications. No species could develop quantum tunneling technology independently, much less maintain a secret colonial network." Sarah Chin, standing quietly at the back of the human delegation, stepped forward. Without a word, she activated a small device. Throughout the chamber, holographic displays materialized, showing detailed technical specifications of human achievements. "We anticipated skepticism," Sarah stated calmly. "Therefore, we've prepared comprehensive documentation of our technological development path." Additionally, she pressed another control, and the chamber's lighting shifted subtly. "We've just activated quantum dampening fields throughout this station, temporarily neutralizing all faster-than-light communications, a small demonstration of our capabilities." Panic rippled through the assembly as various species tried and failed to contact their homeworlds. The Zintheri representative's facial tendrils writhed in barely contained rage. "You dare." "We dare to protect ourselves," Elena countered smoothly, "just as each of you would." The dampening field will be deactivated once we've concluded our presentation. Consider it a practical demonstration of why attempting to dismiss or threaten humanity would be unwise. In the observation gallery, Marcus Young watched the proceedings while monitoring real-time data from Earth's quantum network. The display in his neural interface showed the positions of hidden human assets throughout the galaxy, ships, stations, and surveillance platforms that had been gathering intelligence for decades. A private message flickered across his vision from Director Chen. Phase 3 initiated. Prepare contingencies. The council session continued for hours as humanity methodically addressed questions, concerns, and thinly veiled threats. They revealed exactly enough to establish their position while maintaining countless secrets in reserve. Our policy is simple, Belina concluded. We seek peaceful cooperation and trade with all species who approach us in kind. We have no territorial ambitions beyond our established colonies, which we have already documented with this council. However, her tone hardened slightly. We will respond decisively to any threat to human interests. The Arconian Chancellor, their ancient species known for their measured wisdom, spoke for the first time. You speak of peace while demonstrating power. You offer cooperation while showing you can disable our defenses. Are these the actions of a species seeking harmony? They are the actions of a species that understands reality. Elena replied. We've studied galactic history extensively. New species are often seen as resources to be exploited or territories to be claimed. We chose a different path, to emerge fully prepared to defend our independence. High Admiral Varick stepped forward, his presence adding weight to the human position. The Kilari Confederation stands as witness to humanity's capabilities and intentions. We have verified their claims and toured their facilities. They seek neither conquest nor submission, but genuine partnership. In the shadows of the chamber, Sarah Chen received another quantum transmission. Human sensors had detected increased military activity in several sectors. Precisely as expected, their emergence was forcing various powers to reveal their own hidden assets and intentions. Belina continued addressing the council, but Sarah's attention was divided. Throughout human space, defensive systems were quietly activating. Colony shields were raising, and hidden fleets were moving into strategic positions. They had gamed out every possible reaction to their revelation, prepared contingencies for each scenario. Furthermore, Elena's voice carried clearly. We propose the establishment of a new framework for technological exchange and diplomatic cooperation. The details have been transmitted to your secure networks, once we reactivate them, of course. The subtle reminder of their current vulnerability caused several representatives to shift uncomfortably. The human delegation had orchestrated this entire session masterfully, demonstrating power while offering partnership, showing capability while promising restraint. As the session drew to a close, the Arconian Chancellor spoke again. You have given us much to consider, humans. Your entrance into galactic affairs has been unprecedented. That was our intention, Elena smiled. Humanity believes in making memorable first impressions. Sarah Chen's neural interface flickered with updated intelligence. The Zinthuri were mobilizing their border fleets. The Mbreki were activating deep space scanning arrays. The galaxy was reacting exactly as their simulations had predicted. In the coming days, various powers would test humanity's resolve, probe their defenses, and seek weaknesses. They would find none. Every move had been anticipated, every reaction planned for. Humanity's emergence from hiding was just the first step in a strategy decades in the making. As the council session ended and the quantum dampening field deactivated, messages flooded through the station as species rushed to contact their governments. Elena Rodriguez gathered her delegation, their mission accomplished. They had demonstrated humanity's power while offering peace, shown strength while extending friendship. The galaxy would never be the same. Humanity had hidden in the shadows, preparing for this moment. Now they stood in the light, ready for whatever came next. The game had begun, and they held cards no one else knew existed. Breaking point. 2 months after humanity's revelation to the Galactic Council, the Zintheri Empire made their first move. A battle fleet, officially on routine patrol, diverted toward one of humanity's declared colony systems. They expected to find a vulnerable settlement, ripe for intimidation. Instead, they encountered something that would forever change their understanding of human capabilities. Admiral Kizoth of the Zintheri Third Fleet watched his tactical display with growing unease. "Confirm these readings," he commanded, his facial tendrils twitching nervously. "Confirmed, Admiral," his sensor officer reported. "The human colony has disappeared, along with the entire planetary system." What the Zintheri fleet actually faced was humanity's most closely guarded technological achievement: quantum phase shifting. The entire star system hadn't vanished. It had shifted slightly out of normal spacetime, becoming completely undetectable and unreachable. In Earth's Strategic Command Center, Sarah Chen watched the Zintheri fleet's confusion with quiet satisfaction. "Projection status?" she asked. "Phase shield holding stable," Director Marcus reported. "Colony Echo 7 is secure." The Zintheri are scanning empty space. Elena Rodriguez, recently returned from the Galactic Council, studied the tactical display. "How long before they realize they can't even detect the star itself?" "They've already noticed," Marcus replied. "Their sensors are going into diagnostic mode. They think their equipment is malfunctioning." This demonstration was carefully planned. Humanity had anticipated that certain powers would test their defenses, probe for weaknesses. The ability to phase shift an entire star system wasn't just a defensive measure, it was a message. Any civilization contemplating aggression would have to face the possibility that their target might simply cease to exist from their perspective. Across the galaxy, other powers were conducting their own tests. The Mbreki attempted to penetrate human quantum networks, only to find their best cyber warfare systems trapped in recursive loops of their own creation. The Arconian deep space monitoring stations detected phantom human fleets that appeared and disappeared at random, never quite certain what was real and what was deliberate deception. In a secure conference room on Luna Base, the Human Leadership Council convened to discuss the escalating situation. Present were military commanders, scientific directors, and diplomatic chiefs from Earth and all colonial administrations. "The galaxy is reaching a breaking point," Elena reported. "Our emergence has destabilized centuries of established power dynamics. The Zintheri are particularly aggressive in their probing actions." "As expected," Sarah added. "Their entire empire is built on technological superiority. Our capabilities threaten their fundamental position in the galactic hierarchy." Admiral James Chen, Sarah's brother and commander of Earth's defense forces, brought up a strategic display. "We've detected increased military activity in 17 sectors. Multiple powers are repositioning their fleets, upgrading defensive systems, and accelerating their research programs." "Good," Elena smiled. "They're doing exactly what we predicted. Every credit they spend trying to match our revealed capabilities is resources they're not using to discover our actual advantages." The quantum phase shifting technology was just the tip of the iceberg. Humanity had developed capabilities that they hadn't even hinted at yet. Their public demonstrations were carefully calculated to push potential adversaries in specific technological directions that humanity had already explored and discarded as dead ends. High Admiral Verix, invited to the meeting as humanity's primary alien ally, watched the proceedings with fascination. "You're not just responding to their actions," he realized. "You're choreographing them." "Of course," Sarah confirmed. "Every move we've made since our revelation has been designed to guide the galaxy's response. The Zintheri are so focused on figuring out our phase-shifting technology that they're completely missing our quantum entanglement developments. The Mbreki are pouring resources into cyber warfare countermeasures while we perfect biomechanical integration systems." Marcus brought up another display, showing the status of humanity's hidden research projects. "We're at least 3 generations ahead of where they think we are in most fields. The technologies we've revealed are carefully chosen to distract from our true capabilities. But surely they must suspect. Varix's scales shifted to a questioning purple. No species could advance so far in secret without. He stopped as realization dawned. Alina completed his thought. Without help. You're right. We didn't do it alone. She activated a secure holographic display, revealing humanity's greatest secret. The image showed a massive structure, clearly of non-human origin, discovered beneath the Pacific Ocean decades ago. We found it in 2047, Sarah explained. A library left by an ancient species we call the predecessors. But unlike similar artifacts found by other civilizations, we didn't just copy their technology. We studied their theoretical frameworks, their mathematical models, their scientific principles. Instead of building what they built, Marcus added, we learned how they thought. Then we developed our own technologies based on that understanding. Everything we've revealed to the galaxy is purely human innovation, even though it's built on predecessor knowledge. The revelation stunned Varix. Other species had found predecessor artifacts over the centuries, but they had generally focused on reverse engineering specific technologies. Humanity had taken a fundamentally different approach, learning the underlying principles and developing entirely new applications. The breaking point you mentioned, Varix said slowly, it's not about military conflict or technological superiority, is it? Elena shook her head. It's about understanding. The galaxy is about to realize that they've been playing a game whose rules they don't fully comprehend. Humanity hasn't just developed new technologies. We've developed new ways of thinking about technology itself. As if to emphasize her point, alerts flashed across the strategic display. The Zintheri fleet had finally withdrawn from the vanished colony system, but their retreat was being monitored by surveillance systems that operated on principles no other species had even theorized yet. The next few weeks will be crucial, Sarah stated. As the galaxy realizes they can't intimidate or outmaneuver us, they'll have to make a choice. Adapt to a new reality or risk becoming obsolete. And if they choose conflict, Varix asked. Admiral Chen's expression hardened. Then they'll discover that everything we've revealed so far has been merely a courtesy demonstration. Humanity hopes for peace and cooperation, but we are prepared for any eventuality. The breaking point was approaching, not just for humanity's emergence into galactic society, but for the galaxy's understanding of what was possible. The game wasn't just changing. Humanity had already changed the fundamental nature of play itself. Dawn of understanding. The Galactic Council chamber held its breath as the Zintheri ambassador rose to speak. 3 months of escalating tensions had led to this moment. Behind him, a holographic display showed the aftermath of what had nearly become the first major interstellar war in 5 centuries. The Zintheri Empire, he began, his facial tendrils perfectly still in formal diplomatic pose, acknowledges humanity's position as a sovereign power within the galactic community. We withdraw our objections to their methods of emergence. The admission cost him visibly, but the events of the past week had left no alternatives. The Zintheri's attempted show of force against a human colony had backfired spectacularly. Not only had they failed to even locate their target, but their entire battle fleet had found itself transported instantly back to their home system, their most advanced weapons transformed into inert metal, and their classified military databases downloaded and transmitted to every major power in the galaxy. Elena Rodriguez stood to respond, her expression carefully neutral. Humanity accepts the Zintheri Empire's acknowledgement. We look forward to peaceful cooperation between our species. She paused, allowing her next words to carry weight. All species present should understand. We did not reveal ourselves to establish dominance, but to prevent unnecessary conflict. In the observation gallery, Sarah Chen and Marcus Zhang watched the proceedings while monitoring quantum feeds from across human space. The latest data showed various powers already beginning to adapt to the new reality humanity had created. Research initiatives were being reprioritized, military doctrines rewritten, diplomatic strategies reconsidered. Phase 1 is complete, Marcus noted quietly. Should we proceed with revelation of the predecessor library archives? Sarah's eyes never left the council floor. Not yet. Let them process what they've already learned. Understanding comes in stages. Below, the Arconian Chancellor had taken the floor. The events of recent months have demonstrated not just humanity's technological prowess, but their fundamental approach to advancement. They have shown us that our assumptions about scientific progress itself may be flawed. Elena nodded in acknowledgement. This was the true victory, not the demonstration of superior technology, but the beginning of genuine understanding. The Arconians, with their philosophical traditions, had been the first to grasp the deeper implications of humanity's emergence. We did not develop our capabilities to dominate, Elena addressed the chamber. We developed them to ensure that when we joined the galactic community, we could do so as genuine partners in advancement. Today, we offer that partnership to all species willing to embrace new ways of thinking. The chamber erupted in discussion as Elena activated a holographic display showing a new installation in Earth orbit, the Galactic Science Academy. This facility will be open to researchers from all member species. Here, we will share not just technology, but methodologies, not just answers, but new ways of asking questions. High Admiral Verix, now serving as the Kilari's permanent ambassador to Earth, felt his scales shift to the deep blue of optimism. He had watched humanity's plan unfold from the beginning, seen how they had orchestrated every step to reach this moment. Their mastery wasn't just technological, it was psychological, strategic, and ultimately, civilizational. In a secure quantum conference link, Sarah Chen communicated with the hidden research facilities throughout human space. Teams of scientists, engineers, and theorists were already preparing for the next phase. The public academy would share significant advances, but humanity's most revolutionary developments would remain protected, ensuring their independence while guiding galactic civilization toward a more enlightened future. The Mbreki representative, their crystalline form pulsing with intellectual excitement, spoke next. The humans have shown us that our understanding of quantum mechanics, space-time manipulation, and even consciousness itself may be based on limited perspectives. Their phase-shifting technology alone suggests principles we never considered. That's precisely our point, Elena responded. Every species develops along its own path, influenced by their unique biology, environment, and history. The galaxy benefits most when we combine these perspectives rather than competing over them. The session continued as various powers pledged cooperation with the new academy. Even the Zinthari, despite their recent humiliation, recognized the opportunity to advance their civilization in new directions. In the weeks that followed, the first joint research teams began arriving at the academy. They found an environment designed not just for scientific collaboration, but for cultural and philosophical exchange. Humanity had created a space where different species could learn from each other's approaches to understanding the universe. Sarah Chen stood in her office at Luna Base, watching Earth rise over the lunar horizon. A quantum message from Marcus appeared in her neural interface. Predecessor library archives show similar facilities existed during their era. We're not just advancing technology, we're rebuilding something lost to time. With improvements, Sarah replied. The predecessors built their networks on technological exchange. We're building ours on the exchange of ideas. The galactic community was changing. Species that had been locked in centuries-old patterns of competition and suspicion were beginning to explore new possibilities. Humanity's emergence had disrupted the old order, but they had also provided a path forward. In the Galactic Science Academy, a young Zinthari researcher worked alongside a human quantum physicist, their different perspectives combining to solve problems neither could have approached alone. Similar scenes played out across the facility as species learned not just from human technology, but from humanity's approach to discovery itself. Elena Rodriguez, preparing for another council session, reviewed the latest reports. The phase-shifting technology that had so impressed other species was already being surpassed by joint research projects. New theories were emerging from the combination of different species' scientific traditions. "We succeeded," she messaged Sarah, "not just in protecting humanity's independence, but in changing the galaxy's trajectory." Sarah's response was characteristically focused on the future. "This is just the beginning. The real work starts now." The dawn of understanding had arrived, not just for humanity's place in the galaxy, but for what species could achieve together. The game hadn't just changed. It had evolved into something entirely new. And humanity, having orchestrated this transformation, was ready to help guide galactic civilization toward a future that none of them could have imagined alone.